Evening, Gotham. Good evening, Metropolis. Good evening, Emerald City, Xanadu, Babylon, the ISS, the rest of you. All right, that's close. I know what the problem is. I moved that platform that this tripod is on last couple days ago. It'll be a work in progress. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the number one podcast on the internet that nobody knows about, and even fewer people are watching. So, yes, you found it. I am Scooter McGee. Find me on the World Wide Web, of course, right here. 7 nights a week live on YouTube at 1 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Moscow, 3 p.m. Tokyo, and 10 p.m. in Sherwood Oaks, California. I am broadcasting outside of the shadow of Coors Field in the bosom of Lodo and in the grasp of the military industrial complex, Denver, Colorado. Good evening. Headlines are on my Twitter feed, the Scooter McGee. You can interact with me on social media if you want through Facebook, Scooter McGee. And if you appreciate what I'm doing, maybe you can help support the project on my Patreon page as Scooter McGee. So let's get through these headlines for 3/18/2022 and see where they're trying to take us. Shocking revelations in Texas regarding the death of 7 college golf team members and the driver of the alleged vehicle that killed them brutally. He's 13. The passenger of the vehicle was 38 years old. Blame the parents, certainly not the auto companies that have created these donut flat tires, donut spare tires. Initial accounts and investigations on the scene reveal that quite possibly in the moments leading up to the crash that the little boy, 13, was unable to handle the vehicle as it had a flat tire. The donuts. Okay. Well, let's see what legislation they pass in Texas or nationwide so that this never happens again. Because if a parent lets a kid drive at night when they're not allowed, oh, it's time to throw the book at them. Uh, 2 survivors out of that Texas golf team, of course, the heroes. Okay. Hey, remember when President Obama was president? I mean, the first time. Can't prove anything, right now in 2022, like, Hunter Biden's laptop being real or anything. Talk about the October surprise. The October surprise was real. The media discounted it, they discredited it, they shadow banned it, they banned you from talking about it, that it was Russian misinformation and disinformation. And thank you to the New York Times and their expose where they reveal it in the 24th paragraph right there. Talk about burying the lead. The laptop exists. The extortion, the racketeering, the money laundering, all through Hunter Biden and the prostitutes and the drugs and everything else. Wow. President Obama, former President Obama. You remember when he assured America that we were going to be the leaders again in space exploration and beyond, and his commitment to a man on the moon by 2020, and NASA rolling out the Artemis project, and that we'd be back in space headed to the moon by 2020? 3/18/2022, NASA now finally rolling out the Artemis rocket. 2 years and 3.5 months behind schedule. And, well, certainly funding has been an issue. And boy, if we're going to want to go to the moon, the fuel costs are. Has Russia asked China for assistance? Sources inside the Pentagon and key military officials claim yes. President Biden speaking with President Xi on a teleconference call for 3/18, stressing the need for China not to, please don't do anything. Please don't make me look even more stupid than I am. We don't know. We're getting a English translation and a Chinese translation from sources that said Hunter Biden's laptop wasn't real. Um, Concerns over the supply chain and the now new shortages that the raise in oil prices have caused, um, as well as the continued ridiculous banning of Russian businesses or Russian items by American businesses, and a need for the government and media to have your anger be directed at Russians and not those who covered up the Hunter Biden laptop. Um, K Jewelers and Zanes are refusing now to buy Russian gemstones. Good. Russian owned businesses across the United States are being boycotted and having, hate speech slur. That's not hate speech, that's patriotism. Dead Russians good. That's patriotism. Wow, it's getting weird very fast. Um, Arnold Schwarzenegger has come out to do I did a video sending it to the Russian people. I don't think the Russian people will ever see this. What a propaganda hit piece. Oh, hey, remember Arnold talking about, the Trump and the insurrection and, the crystal glass night and all this nonsense? Wow. Up for Academy Award year for the actor serving up the most bull possible. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Um, Brittany Griner remains a political hostage and behind enemy lines in Russia. Well, I don't care what skin color you are, what your gender is, what your occupation is. When you travel out of the United States with illegal drugs, well, they were legal, which it doesn't matter. You shallow, selfish, self-absorbed, ignorant athlete. Demands for her release from Washington. Demands. Where do you get off demanding anything? Bombs continue to fall, and the shelling continues in Ukraine. As a delegation of U.S. Congress set to head over to the region next week to Poland to meet with NATO and be briefed, and to meet with the 6.5 million Ukrainian refugees in now the first 22 days. According to the International Humanitarian Relief of the United Nations, 6.5 million. Boy, sucks to be Scooter Damas, doesn't it? Because it's not 2 to 5, it's 2 to 10 if there's any activity. There's been activity. We're at 6.5 million. It's just saying. Just saying. I just. Hmm. Anonymous sources say that Putin is behaving erratically and he's being withdrawn now and he's becoming paranoid. Who are these sources? NBC and ABC and CNN can confirm these sources wish to remain anonymous. Yeah, because you made it up. He's playing out of the Soviet playbook. Until you guys figure that out, you're the ones who are madmen and delusional. The Pentagon continues to fear that with Vladimir Putin up against a wall and his army stagnant in the Ukraine, he's desperate and may use chemical weapons or worse. Ukraine is the heartland of the Eastern European theater. He's not going to use nuclear weapons. You people suggesting that as pundits on any cable or television system, you're out of your minds. Beyond delusional. Do I have volume? Boy, it'd be really nice to make sure you have volume in this show. Beyond delusional. By the way, 21 or 22 states as of 6 p.m. Friday, 3/18/2022, now calling for a suspension of their national gas tax or their state gas tax. That's a week. Let's see where we are next week. Maybe we can get most of the states. So we will have dragged it out even further. Again, last year the United States made $8.8 billion off you. Do you think they're going to give up the tax? No. California Governor Gavin Newsom, of course, rejecting the idea of suspending the national gas tax or the California gas tax, highest gas taxes in the United States. No, he has a better idea. How about a rebate? Well, you just prove and go through the right hoops, and we'll mail you a little token maybe next year sometime. The check is in the mail. Government's here to help you. And if you don't know the last line, well, that's depending upon which side of the aisle you're on there. That may be ignorance is bliss, or ignorance is about to strike you upside the back of the head. Um, the rise of the announcement of the Federal Reserve's rise in interest rates have now economists, aren't you funny? Economists concerned in how the Federal Reserve phrased their announcement. With this and six more, with only 9 months left, means there's going to be seven raises in the. Uh huh. See, I told you that. Nah, nobody's listening to Scooter McGee. By the way, more potentially bad news. So, remember when I said that the start of the sanctions, that's again what led to the Japanese attacking Pearl Harbor. Well, that was a false flag. See, and we knew it. Roosevelt and Eisenhower. See, stop. Name the first president to trade arms for hostages. That's going to really mess you up. Um, World War One and the assassination of the Arch Grand Duke. World War Two and Chamberlain. When it comes to the Germans, even though America was attacked by Japan, which leads us into the war, Germany follows the next day. America spends most of its time crushing Europe, takes care of Japan with the bomb because we defeated Europe. The world would have been a much more interesting place had the United States dropped the bomb on Berlin, wouldn't it? Now go and watch the HBO movie Fatherland. Oh, yeah. By the way, this talk now of a new Berlin Wall. Is this to divert from the attention to the Antarctic and endurance and New Berlin? No, a New Berlin Wall. Okay. Moderna now has made the official request for a fourth, well, second booster. Okay. Good. But mortgage rates rising now to 4%. That's when you have the best absolute credit and all the money down and all the right. Here, you get the premium rate. Um, the Federal Reserve states categorically that this will stop inflation and bring us back to rates of typically 2% inflation, and will do so in the next 2 years. But it's important, as Jenny, it's important. It's very important, and it's important that we be important, and that I'm important, and that it's important we take these measures now, or things might get worse. Oh, okay. Speaking of things might be getting worse, Dr. Fauci pops up on the radar to tell us all that there's 11 new million cases of the BA2 variant, and then there's another whoa. I'm thinking of retiring. He's thinking of retiring. Yeah. To where? What island are you and Bill Gates going to be on? What is now being called the biggest gas crisis in U.S. history has energy officials uneasy about the summer travel season and how it will affect Americans. Media across the United States is doing the same pandering as they did in the 70s, hanging out at the gas station, interviewing the people and their desperate cries for should I tank gas up? Should I get my medication? Or should I feed my kids? And the horror and the tragedy, and then what you can do here at the trouble starters, the problem beginners, The rabble rousers. We've looked into what you can do to save money. You should get your car aligned. You should get your oil changed. You should get your car tuned up. We're going to tell you what to do to save money. And the first thing you do is telling us to go spend more money. If you're really worried about these high gas prices, you can get into the cost of an electric vehicle and you're wanting to spend even more money. Okay. We're sending a delegation to Poland next week for NATO to have a meeting. Good for you. Good for you. Hey, we have now my count, I believe, is 4 dead generals in Ukraine, Russian generals. Um, the Soviet army is having more and more of a difficult task hiding the dead Russian soldiers when they're losing colonels and generals in the field. But my NCAA brackets were not so messed up. Still, no Major League Baseball players dropping dead from a shot. Only two uh, World Cup soccer players, and which is my guess. I actually think more baseball players running around may have little events this summer on national television than World Cup soccer players dropping dead. But the fact that the Russian generals in the field in Ukraine have doubled or quadrupled my predictions so far. But we're not at opening day yet. Spring training is going to reveal a lot. Um, Amazon has purchased MGM in a bid for Amazon's direct online contact to increase $8.5 billion going to the stockholders, not the stakeholders, stockholders. Airline tickets are now up 4%. Sorry, airline ticket sales, which means as of 3/15 were these numbers. 3/15/22. The airline industry argumentatively now has 4% more people traveling than did in 2019, which is pre-pandemic numbers. So that's actually an encouraging sign. However, the media says, boy, those days of low gas prices. Well, I mean, low airline ticket prices. You can pretty much count those days goodbye. Um, if you keep enough air in your tires, and if you map out your drive, and maybe if you ride your bike to work once a week, you'll save money and be healthy. Freak shows on a dance floor. Um, 6.5 a million refugees now out of the Ukraine, according to the United Nations. 21 days. Drug overdoses have now reached a new U.S. record high. And of course, the boogeyman in this case is fentanyl. Okay. Oh, okay. You bet. Locking everybody up for 2 years, scaring the crap out of them, and turning a whole bunch of the world into zombies. Well, these are American numbers. Yeah. And how messed up is our society? All these kids doing what they're doing, and their parents who get to wrap themselves in a shroud of self righteous indignation that their kid was a good kid. No, you're a piss poor parent, and you need to be bitch slapped. Sorry, did that come out with my outside voice? I didn't mean that. Angry hate speech. No such thing. Did I miss anything? I'm just scanning. Yes, the BA2 appears to be becoming more prevalent. Dr. Fauci on NBC News. Um, we're going to need 22.5 billion more dollars to study it. Jeez. They just keep throwing these numbers out. Sounds good. Need more money. More money. Keep just throwing money on it. Nobody seems to be in charge over at the White House. And again, a delegation of U.S. Congress is going to go over to Poland to be briefed by NATO. I thought we could do this on Zoom. You know, the presidents of nations are doing it on Zoom. We need to meet with them. We're going to need logos, and we're going to need shirts and uniforms and hats, and then the field jackets. Do we want bomber jackets or do we want windbreakers? We may need polar Arctic fleece gear because it's the Ukraine. We're going to have another meeting. Peace talks between the Ukrainians and the Russians have stalled, but at least the lines of communication are open as the barbaric Russian army continues savagely and relentlessly, mercilessly, indiscriminately targeting innocent civilians in Ukraine. And we need a no-fly zone. And won't somebody stop? Sorry, World War III already started. The minute you started economic sanctions, you declared World War III. It's funny now because some of the pundits are having to say what Scooter Damas said when I jumped into this. I am not going to sit on the sidelines and not cover World War III. It is not World War III, Scooter. You're being a dramatic and exaggerated. No, it's just, again, a kinetic war of war is now being waged on the economic landscape, on the social landscape, and on every other landscape except now by designation, the kinetic landscape. Sure, it is. It's just not in your backyard. Again, NIMBY, not in your backyard. Well, sorry. It's Friday night, and there wasn't really. I mean, there's a lot of news now they're going to dump. So I will still be with you every night of the week here. It's going to be an interesting take out the trash news weekend. I will tell you now, candidly, off the record. So I have a meeting down tomorrow now in Denver. Whether or not I'm live or not just determines whether or not I can get back up here in time. Um, so, but the plans are yes, because the meeting is at 7 p.m. in Denver. So, uh, doubtful it'll even go an hour and a half. But argumentatively, if even it doubles that time, that's still only 10, and I'll be home before 11. But I will see all of you every night, 1 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Moscow time, 3 p.m. Tokyo, and of course 10 p.m. over there in Century City, Studio City, Burbank. Be well, everybody. Be safe. I would really start not trusting the headlines between the Washington Post nonsense and the October surprise of 2020 and the revelations now of the New York Times and Hunter Biden's laptop was real. It was, I'm sorry. When it was, huh? Excuse me? Yes, well, that you didn't need to. Can we go to commercial? You mother and liars. You piece of liars. You mother and liars. Russian disinformation. Me. Can't wait to see what Hillary has to say. Now watch. Could this be the scandal that gets rid of Biden? Oh. And Hillary, and again, I can't trust Susan Rice any further than I can throw Stacey Abrams. Or Donna Brazil for that matter. Pocahontas talking about we need to investigate the evil oil companies because of price gouging. The national gas price average was $2.59 last year. It's $4 and higher now. California at $6. It's all Putin's fault. It is not the economic policies of the Biden administration. If you say that, you're with Putin. It's propaganda. You're a liar. Hunter Biden is an upstanding member of the Christian business community and is loyal to the people of America and is a fine public servant. Hunter Biden. That's who we're talking about, Hunter? Okay. Hey, it's your lie. And it's not a lie if you believe it. But don't expect anybody to take you seriously ever again. Ever. 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 You lying pieces of trash. Hunter Biden's laptop is real. Remember all the fun they were making at Rudy Giuliani? Oh. You know what? I just threatened a previous employer earlier today with you call me back or I'm going to install a glitter bomb somewhere that you're never going to. Not like I have your butt or anything. No, he has several new cars, and I'm really debating placing a 1 or 2 inch glitter bomb where, son of a, hey, you should have called me back. I could have told you how to disarm it because now you're going to have that all over the place for the next 12 years. It's not my fault. You should have returned my call. And the fact that I got to your car and that I wired it and all I wired it with was a glitter bomb. A, you need a better security company. B, you need better security cams. And C, you're lucky that I'm a good Sith Lord and I just wired the car with a glitter bomb. Back in the 70s, they did things differently, whether it was in New York, New Jersey, Philly, Chicago, or Belfast. This idea now to gin up the tension between the Catholics and the Protestants during Lent in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Okay, be well, be safe, be very distrusting of the headlines over a Take Out the Trash News weekend. And I will see all of you again in approximately 24 hours, 1 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Moscow, 3 p.m. Tokyo, and of course, 10 p.m. Los Angeles time. Good night. Be well. Be safe. Thanks for coming. And there's no Hail of Oak or Hail Boreas. It's kind of a slow night. Gotta go.